Hey guys, welcome back. I would like to show you the latest updates I've done on my game, on the game on which I'm working on. The game is called titled War Class, and everything that you can see here are assets that are used as placeholders. So once again, they are from um, open open game assets, I think, and from other games, from other mods, from a lot of different sources. You will recognize some of them from other games. Okay, now I have said that, I'd like to talk about the latest additions. Now, the first thing that I like to talk about, the main thing I like to talk about is the fact that I've changed the way the game is rendered, and now it's much more efficient and much faster than it's faster than before, and so it allows me to uh, render new things, additional things that I was able to render them before, but because it was slow, I could not have it. So the first thing you can see is that it looks better, and what makes it looks better, especially it's the shadows of the trees. You can see that each tree, um, kind of like casts a shadow that originates from the tree. How does it work? Once again, everything is DOM based. It's not rendered with Canvas or any other kind of like WebGL or other libraries like that. It's all native HTML. So the shadow of a tree is actually another div element that originates from the base of the tree, kind of, and then it has CSS transform, rotates, and a few filters and opacity and things like that to make it so that it looks like a shadow. It actually has the same background image as the tree from which it goes from. And this background picture, because you have the filter, brightness is 0, opacity is like things like that. So it looks like a shadow. Then it's darker, and it's kind of like black, and it's a little bit transparent. But there are limitations to that. For example, if you have a shadow that is on top of another shadow, it's going to be darker, and it should not. In real life, when two shadows are together, superimposed on top of each other, they are not darker, right? Because it originates from the same source. But in this game, it's just an element. So yeah, maybe we can find a way to fix that, but it's not very useful anyway. It looks good like this, right? Now, the other thing that you can notice here is the presence of these cliffs here. Now, the impassable elements that are here to represent areas where you cannot move, and they also block the view. They are now represented as a 3D cube, which is great because in the past it was only a sprite, rocks. Now it's a proper cliff cube, and it looks much better, and it gives a more 3D vibe to the game. So it's once again, the cube is an HTML element containing 1, 2, 3, 4 surfaces. The back surface is not existing because we don't see it, so we don't need to render it. We don't have it. But yeah, basically it's 4 faces, and then you have CSS transform, 3D transform that allow it to look like a cube. So it's very cool, right? It blocks the vision. It looks like a cliff. I could work on that, but I think it looks good like this. Of course, it's definitely a placeholder, as everything else, right? So that's the thing, right? It's very fast to render the game. 75 per 75 squares, cells, in other words, in the game, and you can move around using the mini map like this. This is kind of like a cheat, but it shows you that it's very fast. I mean, it's not super fast because my computer is slow, but okay. I just want to show you how it works behind that. So we have 75 75. If I show you with the DevTools here, you can see that we have one single container called the inner neo here that contains all the cells that are visible in the game. And it's not many cells, as you can see, it's only like a few ones. So it dynamically updates the rendered, the visible area with cells that we need based on the position of our group within the full map. The full map is a two-dimensional array of 75 per 75, but we render only a small portion of that. And when we move around, we actually append or remove div elements from, I think it's called a buffer, from an array. I don't know if it's called a buffer or whatever, but basically it's another array, an array of elements, of div elements that are stored when the map is created. It's another two-dimensional array. It does not contain the data, but it's created from the two-dimensional array data of the map. And once we have these elements installed, we can add them, we can remove them from the rendered element. So for example, when I move to the right, to the east, we append more elements to this area here, and we remove only the elements that we need to remove, so the ones on the left side. And because each element is already stored into an array, it doesn't take time to render them. And because each of these elements has a grid area property that you can see here. For example, this one is 36 out of 38. It shows the column, it indicates the row. So when you append them to the container that is organized as a grid layout, it automatically finds the correct positioning for these elements because they are grid elements and they have their own grid area properties. So it's ordered in the way you would expect. You don't have to place them, you don't have to do anything with that because it's grid layout. See it as grid layout. And it's the data of the map, of course, is the base for all of this. So that's it. Basically, that's it. Grid layout, grid elements that have a grid area. We append them, we remove them, and the ones that don't need to be removed, they simply stay here. But for example, the ones in the center, they don't go away, but they are reordered based on the new elements that we have appended to this area. That's it, okay? And this is really efficient. This is DOM-based. I hate Canva. I think I will never use Canva unless there is a good library for that. But I just like CSS and the node system of the DOM, right? Yeah, now you have items, right? For example, here we got scraps from these wagons, right? For example, here there is a skeleton, so I can gather that as well. And here you see you have bones, right? There are a lot of many new things like evolving, devolving, promoting. It's a lot. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here. Have a good day. Bye.